Hello and welcome back, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning back in again. This is a screencast-o-matic presentation and recording for the issue of Should College Tuition Be Free? Before we get started, please let me encourage you to open up to the correct part for today's lesson and to scroll down on your Google Doc to the correct section. Please remember that your whole goal here is to, of course, analyze both sides of the argument and then to provide your own analysis with supporting detail. So let's go ahead and get started. Should college tuition be free? Going to college is very expensive in the United States. Tuition alone at a four-year school can run anywhere from about $10,000 at a state university to more than $40,000 at a private institution. And that doesn't include all other costs students bear, for such things as housing, food, and books. With tuition costs continuing to rise, lawmakers in some states have approved plans that allow residents to attend public colleges without paying tuition. Last year, New York joined other states including Minnesota, Oregon, and Tennessee in offering students tuition-free education. New York's governor and a New York Times columnist debate whether that's a good idea. So this is a graph that you can actually come back to later, guys, if you want to, in regards to college costs by the numbers. So let's go ahead and look at the both sides, I guess you could say, of the debate, and we shall delve deeper from there. Let's look at yes. In decades past, public education was society's great equalizer and a path upward on the ladder of economic mobility. And today, a college degree is the equivalent of what high school diploma was 50 years ago, a gateway for many to take part in the American dream. By 2020, more than 35 million job openings in the U.S. will require a degree from a two-year community college or above. But for too many working and middle-class families, attending college is either too expensive to consider, or it saddles students with debt for decades to come. Over the past 30 years, the average cost of college has increased 1,120%. The result is that student debt has reached an astonishing $1.4 trillion nationwide, and students now graduating on average with upward to $35,000 in loans. It's imperative that college is affordable for all, and New York is leading the way. Recently, New York became the first state in the nation to make our public 2- and 4-year colleges tuition-free for working and middle-class families making up to $125,000 per year. Reducing college costs isn't only good for students, it also makes good economic sense for the nation. That's because allowing all of the most talented Americans to go to college, regardless of their ability to pay, means the U.S. will have the best trained workforce in the highly competitive global economy. Reducing college costs is good for students and for the nation's economy. But simply making college tuition free isn't enough. We also need to maintain the rigorous academic standards that made our public colleges great in the first place. In New York, admission standards will remain high, college facilities world-class, and investment in faculty paramount. For those looking to be successful in life, a college education is no longer a luxury. For the nation's continued economic prosperity, we need to educate more students without saddling them with crushing debt. That's why it's more critical than ever that states across the nation follow New York's lead and move to make college affordable for all. So let's move on to the next slide here. And once again, that was from Andrew Cuomo, current governor of New York. Here's the other side of this debate. No. Providing free tuition at public colleges and universities sounds like a great idea, but upon closer examination, it becomes clear that free tuition has many hidden costs. First of all, providing free tuition isn't going to make college free. These days, non-tuition fees like living expenses and textbooks are substantial and can be as challenging for students to pay as tuition itself. And if schools are forced to eliminate tuition, they will certainly increase those other fees in an attempt to compensate. Eliminating tuition also reduces students' motivation. Research has shown that students who have to earn money to pay some college costs, even if only by small expenses, are more spurred to work hard and graduate. As Cheney Ng, an education policy researcher at Northwestern University, put in a Washington Post essay, as the cost of attending college drops to zero, so does the perceived cost of dropping out. Over the long term, eliminating tuition could hurt the quality of our nation's public universities. Right now, those schools rely on tuition to help fund programs. If they were forced to rely on taxpayer funds alone, it's likely that the quality of the education they would offer would suffer. So, to repeat this here, eliminating tuition could hurt the quality of our public colleges. Now that's because public universities are funded by states, which are required by law to balance their budgets. So that means states, facing rising costs in some areas, must trim other programs, and spending on education is a frequent target. Consider what's happening in Germany, where universities became tuition-free in 2014. Since then, per pupil spending has dropped by 10%. Germany is an extremely successful country, but its universities are not generally ranked among the world's best. Instead of getting more individual attention in small classes, Many German students attend lectures with hundreds of students. There are many good reasons to try to make earning a college degree more accessible to all students, but offering free tuition is a counterproductive approach. And that's from David Brooks, columnist for the New York Times. So once again, here comes your moment. Where do you stand, and what do you think? Please choose a side, and then provide supporting detail for what you think. Thank you very much for tuning in, and good luck with completing the rest of the lesson.